So we want to talk about legal aspects of purchasing a home, investing in a home, excuse me. And we don't know what we need to do, basically what we need to know. So we have our main man, Anthony Curcio, who's going to discuss with us basically what you guys need to know about possibly investing in real estate. Anthony, the floor is yours.
Well, before I begin, the thanks for having me on. Real estate investment has been one of the oldest investment tools in America, and people have generated a lot of wealth through that. So, it's they're not making any more land, so it's going to be worth something. It always goes up, it goes down. It's a very steady investment, and there's a lot of ways to make money in it. I'm going to talk about basically deciding whether or not a property is right for the type of investment you want to make and what you should kind of look out for when drafting your contract going forward. So basically, before you even get started with purchasing a property, you want to see do an analysis of what kind of property you want to buy and how you want to use that property. Looking how do you want to use that property, you look into the zoning code of the town or the village of which the property is located. That will give you a very good insight as to what you can do, what you can't do. You're going to be, restricted based on the zoning classifications. Um, if it meets your needs and it matches up with what you want to do, the zoning and the use of the property is allowed in that particular area, you're good to go. But however, if you're looking to use the property for a certain way and the use is not permitted in that zone, you're going to have to go for use variances, which they're tough to overcome. They're not impossible, but a lot of times they are the kiss of death. But if you have if you have a hardship and you can prove that to the zoning board of appeals in your village or your town, and you have some precedent behind you, it makes it a little bit of an easier lift than if you had nothing supporting your application. Going forward, whether or not you needed a variance or not, you're going to go to contract to purchase the property. You're going to want a couple of things in that contract. They're going to be vital to your investment. First off, you're going to need a due diligence period, normally 45 to 90 days, depending on the type of property you're buying and what needs to be done. Normally, you'll do a phase one environmental study. If all goes well, that's the end of your environmental review. If there's chemicals or anything found, you're going to have to go through a phase two, possible remediation, and a lot of investment and cost into remediating the property. It's at that point whether or not you want to go forward with that, whether it's worth the investment into the remediation. That's up to the investor and what their business plans are.
Can I pause you for 1 second?
Yeah.
Now, I know the average person is probably watching this. They probably want to be an investor, and this might be daunting to them. Now, are they doing this themselves, or is the real estate attorney that they hired doing a majority of this work?
The real estate attorney will do a majority of this work, and they'll walk them through the steps. What I would do is I would draft the contract and kind of just go through it with the client and be like, listen, this is due diligence means, and it's usually defined in the contract, but I'll explain to them. It means you have to go through, make sure everything environmentally is correct. You have insurable title, title report is clean. There's no liens on the property, nothing financially that's going to create a burden. No lis pendens or anything like that, no litigation going on. So, I'd walk them step by step by explaining that to them. And then what we would also do is make sure that if they need zoning approvals to, whatever they need to do, if they need site plan approval to develop the property, if they need variances in order to use the property the way they want to, we would put something in the contract that makes the contract subject to those approvals, because there's no guarantees with anything in life except death and taxes. We know that. That's the same thing comes with zoning. You may have a great application before a board. It may meet all the parameters. They just were in a bad mood that day and they said, no, we're going to deny your application. If you don't have that in your contract, you're losing out on money, and now you're stuck with a piece of property. It's not worth anything because you don't have approvals. So that subject to clause is very important. It'll allow you the leverage to get out of the contract, as well as the due diligence period will allow you to get out of the contract. Because if you do your due diligence, even if everything's fine and you just have a change of heart, you decide this is not going to work for me, you have the ability to back out whenever the time frame, whether it's 45, 90 days, depending on what you agree to. So what I'm supposed to do as the attorney is I protect the investor and allowing them to make sure that the property works for them cash flow wise. It's going to create value in the property, and they're going to be able to get the approvals while not getting stuck losing money and being stuck in a contract. And I don't want them to get stuck with property that's not worth anything. So my job is to minimize the risks as much as possible while allowing them to maximize the value of the property for whatever their use may be.
So most investors, most savvy investors, do their research beforehand before they think about buying a property, or
they'll do it, or they'll have their attorneys do it. It's a lot of commercial investors, they're more sophisticated, so a lot of them have done it before, so they know what they're looking for. They know what works, what doesn't work. So it depends on the investor. If you're just starting out, you're going to need your hand held a little bit. If you're a seasoned investor, you kind of know what your numbers are, what you're going to hit, what your cash flow needs to be, what everything's going to cost you to build. You have experience with that, so.
Well, this is more going out. This is really going out to the people who have not invested before. This is brand new to them, and we want to make sure that here's some information basically, and this is what you can do to get the information that you're looking for. Basically, we're here to pick our brains if you have questions. So basically, this is more to them. So we just want to give them a little taste of basically what to expect, and if they want more, they can always come back for a consultation.
All right. Everything I talked about was kind of on the commercial end, a little more advanced. But for somebody like myself, I'm an investor. I own a 2-family home. I want it's something small that I could start out with, build wealth. It's not going to put me in the hole, but I know I can count on that cash flow every month, and it's nice to have extra money coming in that you don't have to kill yourself for. And on top of that, you get all the tax benefits of owning the 2-family home. I get to write off the interest on the mortgage. I get to write off the depreciation on the property. I get to write off all the expenses in running the apartment and maintenance and everything else. So, not only is it a wealth building tool, but it actually will help save you money on your taxes, and that's always nice to be able to keep more money in your pocket.
I think we should end it right there. If they wanted more details, basically of a plan, how to start, how can they reach you?
Curcio, Curcio at CurcioLawPLLC.com. 516-809-8483 is my office, or you can call my cell at 631-943-8351. If you feel more comfortable texting, you can text either number and I'll receive your text message. I'm gonna try to get back to every client within 24 hours. That's just that's my philosophy. So.
And like you mentioned before, you have an experience basically investing, so you can give people some pointers what to look out for also. So guys, utilize his experience basically in this matter. Basically, as a real estate attorney and also as an investor, you want to get his as much knowledge as you can. You can never have too much information. It's always good to have information, and you have a resource, which is Anthony. So I want to thank him basically for his time and his expertise to lend it to us basically. So feel free, if you have questions, reach out to him. And remember, you need a real estate attorney for your real estate deals. Talk to Anthony. And I'm your real estate agent. I'm Evan Saint-Gerard with Keller Williams Realty and Landmark. You can reach me at 917-975-5985. And my website is My NY Home Sales. Anthony, you got the last words.
My website is CurcioLawPLLC.com. You can also catch me on Instagram, LinkedIn, and X, formerly known as Twitter, at CurcioLawPLLC.
All right. Anthony, thank you so much.
All right.
Follow this right here.